hear you.
Can you see me now?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened with the login for Zoom, but it's now working. So that's good.
Yeah, so, well, we have Renu there. Hi, Renu.
Hey, that's Aman.
Hi, Renu. Nice to meet you and nice to see you.
Good to meet you too. That's my son, the one who's, well, hopefully going to.
Nice to meet you. Sorry, your son's name?
Ahan.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Hey, Han, what's up?
And nothing. It's normal. Boards just got over, so I'm chilling.
Good. So Ahan is a star soccer player. Huh? He scores many goals.
Excellent.
He's a goal-scoring machine.
We're pleased to know that.
Yeah, and his father plays tennis with me.
Okay.
So his father is a forehand hitting machine. And he's not here with us today because he's playing tennis.
Correct, yes.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, so I'm kind of envious.
It's good you have us for company though, Vikram. Even better.
Of course. I'm not complaining. And there's Manisha. Hey, Manisha.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? Where's your video's not on, Manisha?
Actually, I'm out somewhere. It'll be difficult because Lavanya is training, so I'm there with her. So I will not be able to open the camera.
Oh, okay, no problem. She's training.
Yeah, we are on the field actually.
Okay. All right. So, Lena, just to introduce everybody first.
Okay.
And we'll start formally in the next 5-7 minutes, I guess. Of course, Lena is the director at Corvuss American Academy. You guys already know about Corvuss because we've spoken many times about it. It's a residential school. It's a boarding school, but it's a boarding school with a special emphasis on sports. And it provides an integrated sports and academic environment, which is obviously lacking in our country because we find that students are always facing difficulty in balancing sports and academics. And of course, students who wish to play sports at a higher level require special type of attention, special type of training, and obviously the balance of academics, because the ultimate goal obviously is to play at the highest possible level, whatever that may be. I mean, it could be that you could end up playing for a club later on, but it prepares you to balance academics and play your sport at a high level. And then we have a pathway to a college sports admission as well, which is taken care by my company. I can see Ben here who's joined. Hi, Ben.
Hiya, how are you? Sorry about that.
Oh, you guys got internet connection.
Yeah, so I think mine must be the first one to have kicked back in.
Excellent, Ben. I was just letting Vikram know that if you were not able to get on in time, that we would take some of the Q&A for curriculum before, and then that would give you time. But that's fine. Welcome.
Thanks. Thanks. Sorry to keep you waiting, guys. Thanks for waiting.
No worries. So just giving us a brief introduction about Lena and Corvuss, and what the school and academy is all about. And just to give you, Ben, a bit of a background about Ahan, who's there with his mom, Renu, and Manisha Upadhyay, whose video is not on. She's actually, I think she's in the gym with her daughter. So Manisha's daughter, Lavanya, is in class 9th. She's played to sub-junior nationals. She's training very hard. She's actually getting ready for the Delhi state trials. And I'm 100% sure that she'll make it to the state trials. And then after that, by I think September or October of this year, we're going to have the national trials. We don't have the nationals, I'm sorry. And from the nationals, 30 girls are going to be selected for the national camp for the 2022 Under 17 Girls World Cup. So that's what Lavanya's target is. And to come to Ahan, he's obviously also a very accomplished football player. used to be in Shriram School and then tried out Pathway School. Didn't really like the environment or the soccer over there. Correct me if I'm wrong, Renu.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And then he's come back to Shriram School. Shriram has a very strong culture of soccer. I know the soccer head coach is over there also, and the school does very well. Goes to the national, Western regional championships every year, and they also play in the school nationals. The team gets selected from there, and I mean I've practically followed his success over the years, so I know he's a real accomplished football player, and he's very passionate. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Ben, so that you can introduce yourself and talk uh, about the program, the football program that you're leading at Corvuss, and then we'll take it from there. We are expecting other parents to join, but we'll start and we can, introduce them as we go along.
Okay, that's
So
brilliant.
Ben, before you start talking about the football program, I mean, I know that Vikram has been talking about Corvuss with all of you, but if you have questions concerning the academic curriculum, what are the subjects, how it is divided, what are the credits required, anything pertaining to academics, I will be happy to answer that after Ben has finished talking about the football program and you all have had a chance to ask him questions. If you have questions that, for example, you want to ask him in the course of what he's talking about, feel free to drop them in the chat box. That way we can address them at the end, if that's fine with everyone. Yeah? Right. Sorry, Ben, please go ahead.
No, that's fine. Is it possible to give me permission to share my screen? I've got a few slides that I'll take the players through.
Lena, you're on mute.
Sorry, you should be able to share. Are you able to share?
Yeah, that should be, yeah. So can you all see my screen? Yep, okay. Great.
Yeah, we can see.
Brilliant. So what I'll do is I'll take you through a little bit about myself and my background, and then I'll move on to the football club and the City Football Group to explain who we are, because we are more than just one football club, and that's important for you to know if you'll be getting involved with us. And then I'll take you through our football program, how we train players, what we tend to focus on, and our philosophy, our methodology, our reasons for doing that. Okay, so the first part, as I said, is a little bit about me. So just some background. This is a little bit of an older bio. So I've been working in sports for about 20 years. I've been focusing on football specifically for the last kind of 16, 17 years, where I've worked in different Premier League football clubs. So I live in Manchester, well, I lived in Manchester, and I was involved with the Manchester football clubs, the most recent being Manchester City, where I've worked for the last kind of 6 years. So before that, I have my education in sports as well. So I studied at Manchester University, where I got a sports degree. And then from there, I went on, like I say, to work in kind of community sport. So working in outreach programs, focusing on football. And then I've gone into academy football, working in regional talent centres with the Premier League football clubs. So that's my background within Manchester. Outside of that, as well with Manchester City, I've worked in the educational department. So that's kind of set me up nicely for the program that we do at Corvuss, where we have a mixture of kind of academics and kind of football training. And some of that experience has taken me on journeys around the world. So I've been very fortunate to work not just in Manchester, but to travel with my job. And it's landed me here in Mumbai. I've been here since I came in at the end of January, locked in quarantine for a week, and I was finally released in February, where I came to Corvuss. So we've been running our program for probably just over 6 months now. The first part of the program we were delivering virtually while I was stuck in Manchester. And it's been great to kind of be on the ground and training, doing football again, a bit more normally face to face with the kids. I'm not sure where you are in your journeys at the moment, whether you're still able to train, or whether you are doing bits on your own without your football teams. But I feel very lucky at the moment to be doing the face-to-face coaching, which is very much the normal way of delivering football. So it's great to be at Corvuss and being able to do that. So that's a little bit about my background. So just to give you an idea about Manchester City and City Football Group, I'm not sure if you're aware that Manchester City Football Club is part of City Football Group. At the top of the slide, you can see our kind of priority majority stakeholders. So these are the people who run and invest in Manchester City Football Group. But we're a growing kind of organization where we have Manchester City as our parent club, if you like. So it's the first of the clubs within our football group. You may be aware that we also have a number of other clubs that we work with. And what we do is we draw kind of experience and knowledge from Manchester City, and it is shared amongst all of the different clubs that we work with. So some of the clubs that you might know, New York City is one of our older clubs, one of our first partners, Melbourne in Australia, and most recently, we have Mumbai City FC, which is really good for the project that we have going here, because as things get back to normal, we're really hoping to develop some strong links and ties with them. But where our kind of remit falls into is the football education side. So that is the part of the business that kind of links into the program that we're doing here. So I'll just move us on. Just bear with me. Okay. So what we deliver here at Corvuss at the moment, and it's the same program that we use back in Manchester when we're working with our academy players, is we call it the City Play model. Now, there's a number of different stages to the City Play model, but where we are aiming to work with the people who come into Corvuss, it's right smack bang in the middle of our 5 stages. So at the younger end of our players, we're looking at the play to learn. And as the players get older, we kind of develop them through the program, play on to play to progress, and then move on to play to perform. Now, everybody we come across will be at different levels. So the program is really good in the sense that we can target individual players and we can give them learning objectives within different parts of the program so that they're challenged individually. But what we expect it to find with players who are coming in is that they have some experience of playing football, and then we're looking to try and build that team mentality. We use a lot of video clips and footage of our first team. So we try to help them to play like we say the heroes, but just great examples of how to do what we like in a game of football, but at the very top level. So we use our first team players as a guide, as kind of the best examples of how that is done. So we're hoping to help people learn about the game of football. Then, as I say, as you progress, we then start to look at how we can really improve you as an individual and develop you. So now that you've got that bit more experience, we're then looking to help you to create your own style of playing. And then if we can, if you're at the stage, we look at that play to perform, where we're looking at giving players the experience to then take all of this knowledge and put it into the higher level football games as they're kind of moving on with their journey, whether that's into higher education or whether it's into academies or even professional football. So the first 2 parts of the program, the play to move and play for fun, that's a little bit more aimed at the younger players. So we don't really need to kind of go into the detail there, but the program offers players that journey, and we're able to challenge players at each stage of the journey to make sure that they're getting what they need to progress. And as I say, there's loads of different ways that we offer our coaching messages to the players. So we have different, like I say, video content that we can use. We work both in the classroom and we work on the pitch. The working in the classroom is something that, as I'm learning now with the players that I have, it's something quite new to them, but it's a massive part of how we all learn. Everybody learns in different ways, but if we can then use the classroom sessions to kind of reinforce the messages on the pitch, and we can even video and show the players, not just the first team players, but also what they do in games as well. So there's loads of different things that we can do to support the learning. Now, the way that we try to review players and help them with their development is we have kind of our model, our philosophy and our methodology, our way of developing players. So the young man you can see there is Phil Foden, one of our first team players who's the most recent to have come through the academy system. So he's a great example of what we're looking to produce through taking players on this journey with us. So we're trying to develop players who are comfortable on the ball and playing under pressure. We have our City Tough philosophy, where we're looking at creating players who have a good head for the game, so good understanding, a good stomach for the game, so they have the passion, and a good heart for the game as well, where we're looking at the qualities of them as an individual. And we're looking to develop them not just on the pitch, but off the pitch, as I said, in the classroom, with the values that they have. In the game, we want them to have a good game understanding, so they're comfortable at making decisions. We want them to play with intensity and with quality. So that's where we're looking to develop players. And again, the scouts quote on the side of the slide: to find, identify, and recruit the best players to fit our different teams and needs. It's a perfect little caption to kind of give you an understanding of what we're looking to do. Now, I'll take you into the areas in which we actually look to develop players. So we have 4 main areas where we're trying to develop players, and we then break those down into 12 subsections. So the 4 main areas are the tactical, technical, psychological, and physical areas that we're looking for. And we call these our performance factors. So these 4 performance factors cover all the different areas in which a player needs to develop, both technically, tactically, physically, and psychologically. And as you can see, we're able to then look at a player and really work on specific detail, things like how they are in attacking situations, how they are when they have possession of the ball, what they do when they don't have possession of the ball, how to react in different moments of the game. For example, when we transition from being in possession to going out of possession, looking at the decisions that need to be made in those really kind of split-second moments that give us the advantage in the game or stop teams from gaining advantages over us. A really big part of that is developing the individual to have good body control and movement, and that's both with and without the ball. We look at the coordination as well, players. And again, this is aiming to give them the ability to then put in their tactical and technical knowledge into all different situations. The last section is the psychological. So how do they use all that information? We look to create those clever players who make good decisions. So we look at the game intelligence, we look at how they accept the challenges and how they cope with different setbacks in games and show resilience. So there's lots of different levels within there that we can judge players on, and we have a 3-tiered system. And what I'll do is I'll take you on to our next slide, which kind of gives you an idea as to what we're looking for. So this is just our technical criteria. We have this for all of the 4 different performance factors that I was showing you before. So at the very kind of lower level, as you can see, we've got our age groups down the side of the slide. We're looking through the play to learn through to the play to progress. So we're looking at ball mastery skills. Can we use different types of ball mastery skills? Can we use them in 1v1 situations to protect the ball? Can we use different types of turning, twisting, starting and stopping and changing direction? So that's just for our attacking. And then again, we have these that run through all the different 12 areas. Now, the way that we then break that down is over a period of time, we'll look to assess players in different areas, and then we'll produce this little feedback form, which will then be shared with players and parents to kind of give you an idea as to where you are within the program. And again, there's quite a lot of information there that I won't go through, but when we look at it, the technical, it's just about completing skills, the tactical, how you transfer those skills into the game, physical, it's all the movements that relate to the game of football. And lastly, it's then the mind and how we use those bits of information to positively affect the different decisions that we make. Oh. Okay, so the way that our sessions are broken up and delivered to players, we have 5 main sections that we focus on. Our skill zone and our ball retention, like activation, so it's almost like a warm-up. First one is the skill zone, and that gives every player an opportunity to have a ball at the feet, and we challenge you by looking at different ball mastery techniques. So we do this every session that we have. And by doing this, like I say, you not only get lots of time on the ball, but you really get comfortable with a ball at your feet. A lot of the players that I've spoken to in India don't necessarily work in this way. I think it's sometimes a lot of drills and a lot of big games that we play where you might only get to touch a ball once every 2 or 3 minutes. The way that we train, we like to use micro pitches and small areas where we can kind of have all these 2v2, 3v3 situations, 1v1s, and it gives you loads of opportunity to develop. And with that, we will then test you technically, tactically, physically, and psychologically. And we place equal weight on all of those areas when we're training players. So next, from the skill zone, we'd move into ball retention. Players might know this as rondos, where we're looking at doing small possession games, so little 4v1s, 4v2s, and we're looking at then trying to change our warm-up from just basic skill movement into that game situation where we need to think about how we then move the ball or move ourselves to keep possession of the ball within a small group. After that, we will do a technical practice or a game practice. And again, depending on what we're looking at, it might be just we're focusing on a technique on a micro pitch. As I said, looking at a very small moment of the game, or in a game practice, it might be that we're giving you a challenge. So then you're focusing on a very specific objective within a game and trying to show how you use those skills. We always finish all of our sessions with a game of football because it's the best way to understand what's been learned. Again, players love games of football, so it really helps with that kind of encouragement and engagement to get involved. And yeah, what we find is players really develop within this style of coaching. So everything we do, we're always looking to engage people, give them the opportunity to develop in those 4 areas. Okay, so this is just an example of how we've been doing some of our skill zones in our football training session. And also, as I briefly mentioned, we'll use video analysis in the classroom where the players can then watch themselves, watch what they've done in training, and we can review and look at making those small adjustments. We do this on the pitch, but it's really useful to reinforce it in the classroom and let the players actually see how they are moving and the decisions they're making in real time. Okay, we're coming towards the end. So we also then have codes of conduct, and we do expect a lot of the players who come and join in on our programs. We treat them just like we do our academy players, and we also expect them to uphold the values that we have. So I think it's just important to kind of just have a quick look at what those values are, because it's what we expect both on the pitch and off the pitch. And it's very similar to the rules and regulations that you follow when you're at Corvuss, which is great for us. We're very aligned in our beliefs and what we expect of young people. And we always expect them to be ready, whether that's bringing your shin pads and being ready to play, or it's just being ready with your mind so that you're switched on and ready to train. The be respectful, I think that speaks for itself, to your teammates, to your coaches, to the opposition you're playing against. the referees, it might be teachers, the staff who support us in and around the school. We're always looking for players with a positive attitude. Really important. If we're positive, we tend to try new ideas, and I guarantee that the way we train will test you in ways that you've probably not been tested before. And it's about having that positive attitude to try these new things out. The being creative, again, if you have seen Manchester City play, you'll know that we have a lot of creative players, and it's what we pride ourselves on, our attacking football and our style of play. We want you to develop into the players that you want to be, and that involves you making the decisions. So being creative is essential to your development. And then the most important part of that is the play. We always want players to come, bring the best game that they have, and just play, enjoy it, have fun. Okay, so we expect that of all of our players, no matter which age you're coming in at, if you're under 17 or if you're under 8s, for the kids that we work with in Manchester, it's the same for all of them, and it's the same for our first team players as well. Okay, I just wanted to finally give you a kind of little bit of a snippet into the program and how it works for us. So this is just a look at the first 10 weeks of the program that we did this year. We always focus on body control and ball mastery first, because if you don't have the fundamental skills, it will be a challenge for you to take on some of the later concepts that we throw into the program. So this part is really essential, and for anybody new to the program, it means in that first 10 weeks we can get you all up to a consistent level, so that we're then able to look at how we play, how we like to attack, and then we can look at individual specific positions, and then we can look at team development. So that's the way that we structure our program. And every week we'll have 5 practical sessions where we started off at the start of the year when players were coming out of lockdown doing an hour. And as this kind of, as the players got a little bit fitter, we then increased the sessions to 90 minutes, and we're now doing 2-hour sessions every day. And then we spend roughly around 40 minutes in the classroom just reviewing the work that we've done. On top of that, the players will have sessions daily with our strength and conditioning coach. I don't think he's on the call today, but he will take you either into the gym where you will do some strength and conditioning, or you might be out on the track where we look at endurance and agility and coordination. So this is kind of how the program works. It's the same every week, and that kind of takes me to the end of my bit of the presentation. So if you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them. So I'll just stop sharing my screen now. Oh.
Before we go forward, Ben, thanks for that. Before we go forward, I just want to quickly introduce 2 more parents who've joined. There's, I think, Neetu Kakkar, who's got 2 sons who are also soccer players, and Sharin Sundaram is there, as I see. Also, in fact, the older son, we helped him get into a college this year, Arjun, and his younger son, Yashas, is also an accomplished soccer player. Just wanted to welcome them on the session.
Good evening, Coach.
Good evening.
Hi, Sharon. How are you?
Hi, Vikram. Good to see you.
Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, I know you missed the first few bits of it. If you have any questions, anybody can start, or if you want to put it in the chat box and then we can address them one by one. Since it's a small group, I'm sure we can take questions on one-on-one. We also have a 50-second video that Lina would like to show you about the Academy itself. And we can play that after the question and answer session, so you get a feel for the school. I know Renu has registered for the camp as well. I'm sure she has a couple of questions regarding that. So Renu, go ahead.
Yeah, hi Ben. I wanted to know about the camp. Ahan is very keen to go, and we are gearing up for it. But with this, all the spikes that are happening everywhere, is the camp going to happen? Is there a chance that it may not?
As far as I'm aware, we're all in for the camp. We're ready to go. We're prepared. I think, as you say, the only thing that might kind of stop us is if there is any real spikes and changing the regulations around COVID. But we're quite lucky here. We're isolated on our campus. I think you'll probably have been asked to provide COVID tests before coming. And it's the same for everyone who's on campus. So we've got a kind of really secure bubble here. We're very lucky in that respect. So as far as I'm aware, we're all kind of in for the camp. And unless there's some kind of national updates on restrictions of movement, then we should be okay to carry on with that.
So adding to that, Renu, so far there have been no restriction in the Raigad and Karjat area. We've been monitoring the situation on a daily, weekly basis. So far, there have been no cases in that particular area where Corvuss campus is. So unless and until there is a national, as Ben had mentioned, unless and until there's a national directive, which changes all of that, we're still on for the camps.
Okay, great. The only issue is that Bombay seems to be spiking and we would have to fly into Bombay and then drive out. But fingers crossed that nothing happens. How many children have registered for the camp?
So, Renu, I don't have a number to give you at this point, but I will be happy to share that with you perhaps sometime next week.
Sure, brilliant.
Yeah.
So my other question was, how intensive is this camp? Are you, I mean, what is the level of players? Are you sort of taking in anybody from a beginner to experienced, or is it, different categories you're working with? Because
I think everybody, as far as I'm aware, will have a kind of football background. I've not had all of the information shared on me as to what level people are currently training at. So I don't know. One of my questions to any of the players on here was, what is it you're currently doing? Are you training as normal? Are you training at home? I know some people are still able and lucky enough to be playing games. So it'd be interesting for me to find that out. But as far as kind of the camps go, I will tailor the sessions to the needs of the players. It's the way that I always have to do it. So we're very mindful of the fact that possibly some players have not been playing since last year in February, and they're going to struggle at first with the demands of the sessions. We do push people hard. We like to keep all of our practices kind of as close to what you'll experience in a game of football as possible. So they're very kind of short, sharp, but intense practices. What will be great is you will notice your fitness go up within the 5 days that you're with us, but we won't push you to a point where we're going to break anybody. We want people to have a good experience as well. So it will be dependent on the players who come in and how they're feeling. Me in particular, I've come from the UK. I don't know if you've ever been, but the weather there is not what you have here. So even for myself, I've struggled at times with that. I think I'm adjusted now, but I understand that the weather presents a different problem as well for people. So there's loads of opportunities to hydrate, and I will constantly keep in communication as to how people are feeling, just to make sure we're going at an appropriate level for everybody.
Perfect. So my other question is also because we are also considering admitting him, into the school, so that he gets that exposure. He's a very passionate football player. He wants to, his goal is to become a professional football player. So what sort of exposure would he get towards that in school? Do you have national competitions? I mean, does he get to go and play with other, international teams or whatever? What is the system here?
So at the moment, this year is an unusual year. So since I've come in, there's been no kind of competitions that have been going. I think we've slowly started to see some things kind of coming back in. So we have one player who's out in a state competition at the moment. We have another player who's waiting for the national competitions to begin. They've been selected to play in the Under-20 World Cup camps. So we're hoping that they will go over to the national team and play in the World Cup in, I think, 2022, possibly now. And we also are looking at the leagues that we can join. So there's some leagues within Mumbai. We're just a little bit outside of Mumbai, and we're in talks at the moment with the people who run those to see if we can get into those. Again, like I say, with it being an unusual year, we've not been able to make as much headway as we would have liked to with some of that stuff. We do have some international opportunities that we've been talking about where Manchester City have tournaments around the world. So we're looking at hopefully being able to access some of those, but even those tournaments this year, they've not run. So it's just waiting for things to get a bit more back to normal. And then I will have a much better idea of kind of how that's going to look for next year. But yeah, as far as I know, if everything goes well, there'll be lots of exposure. The great thing about the program is that you get kind of a full program of training with us, and it's no different to what you would experience if you were based in our academy back in Manchester. So the opportunity to develop is as good as you'll get. I think the football games and the competition exposure, that's the one thing at the moment that while the world's been as it is, we've not really been able to make much headway on.
Okay, great. Got that.
Anyone else have questions concerning the football program or training?
Can I throw Rain?
Questions you've been looking at schools in the UK as well. I know any specific questions that you may have.
Yeah, I would like to ask something like for girls after they complete their 12th from Corvuss, if they want to be a professional footballer, what opportunities would you provide them? Or are they left on their own to search for whatever they want to?
So after grade 12, I think there's two routes that people would look to go. So as you've said, if their desire is to play professional football, this goes for boys and girls as well. If their desire is to play football professionally, we will be able to help them with the exposure they need. The clubs that we have around the world give us lots of opportunities to not just look at Manchester, but look at different leagues and different academies that we have partnerships with. So that's one way. And then the other side of that is with the American academy system, it's the NCAA, where possibly they might go to the American college school system, which fits in nicely with the academics. And I think there's different routes into there. And I think we have lots of kind of knowledge on the right way to place people and the right way to structure applications to give them the best chances to get into the schools that they want to go to. So again, the beauty of doing the program alongside the academics is you have the two opportunities that then give you that extra little bit of a clout to get into the places that you want to go. So the opportunities are there, depending on the direction you want to go and also the interest that comes back. I think that probably will guide what you end up doing.
Yeah, thank you for the information. I was specifically interested to know if Corvuss has any tie-up with any colleges in US or UK where they would, on basis of the football performance, if they are sending kids to some, colleges in UK or US.
So I think Vikram will also answer that, Manisha. The thing is, we don't have direct tie-ups or partnerships with universities in the UK or the US. However, we have a system where our coaches are very knowledgeable and they understand the entire scouting process and have their own networks and connection with athletic directors at universities abroad. This is where Case and Vikram his entire team come in. They work with students in our high school, which is from grade 10 onwards, is to ensure that they have an understanding of what the child's goals are to be able to help them plan their next steps. So if the US is the goal and the destination, then Vikram and his team, along with our coaches and our academic faculty, will work to identify the universities that would be best suited for your child. right? And help them put together a profile and an application which would be extremely strong, which will include profiling them in front of the requisite athletic directors. So each of our coaches have been student athletes themselves. They have their own connects with athletic directors. Each of our sports partners too are very familiar with this and can step in to assist. Of course, and then we have Case to help with that.
Yeah, I
Does
just want to
that-
add,
Thank you. Thank you for that.
thanks for that, Leena. I just want to add that, tie-up is a word that is used maybe loosely over here. It's not about having a tie-up, because playing sports is about merit, right? It's not about having a tie-up. If you're good enough, we will showcase you to colleges, to coaches, and through Corvuss's network as well, to scouts, as Ben mentioned. So there is ample amount of resources available to showcase you to the right places. If we talk about the US collegiate sports, the women's World Cup team that just won the World Cup, the US Women's World Cup team, 90% of the players were from US colleges. That is the level to turn pro, actually. So the US collegiate system gives you an ample amount of opportunity. That being said, so does Canada, so does UK. So we have the network of coaches, we have insights into the process that we can showcase you to any of these three places, whether it's UK or US or Canada or Europe for that matter. It's all about being able to balance your academics, being able to play at a high level at a place like Corvuss, and then using that as a springboard to get into the next, to the next phase of your life, which could be, turning pro at the age of 18 if that's what you wish to do, and those opportunities will be provided by Corvuss and their network, or getting into college, and then ultimately turning pro after the age of 21, which is an expertise that we have.
So I kind of want to step in here and talk a little bit about academics, because I know that the focus of this discussion has been on football. But I just want to say that there are obviously minimum academic requirements. This is an essential part of Corvuss. This is not just, you're not just talking about your child coming into Corvuss and being part of the football academy. This is equally important is you're balancing your academics, which what Vikram said, you're balancing your academics with the football program. So you have to ensure that certain academic standards are met. And Ben obviously will be in touch with the teachers and with the head of academy to ensure that his student athletes are doing what they need to be doing from the point of view of their academic requirements. If I'm not mistaken, if you're looking at the NCAA and US colleges, the minimum requirement is based upon what our head of academy has mentioned is 26 credits is the minimum. Obviously, if you're looking at competitive colleges, then that changes the dynamic.
Yeah, well, that's very well put, Leena, and that's the challenge that students in cities like Delhi or Mumbai or Bangalore always face, is the balance of academics, because your academy is located at another place, your school is located at another place, and you're constantly struggling to bring both of them together. And that's where a residential academy with an integrated academic program works, and that's what's available in the West, and that's what's come to India now through Corvuss. Sharin, do you have any question? You've been through this process with me with Arjun, and now you have a younger son.
No, as of now, no questions, but I'll come back to you once I discuss with the Ashes.
Sure.
Yeah, he had a game, so unfortunately he could not get on the call.
No worries.
So I guess, any questions for Coach Ben? Ahan, do you have anything that you wanted to ask Coach Ben?
No, I don't think I have any further questions.
Okay.
I have a question for Ahan. Who's your team, Ahan? Who do you support?
Oh, I support Barcelona.
But that's okay. We're okay if it's, yeah. That's brilliant. A lot of the players I come across, they support different Premier League teams. So
Yeah.
a La Liga team, I'm fine with. Good choice.
There you said Manchester United.
No.
Don't talk to me about United. Not at the moment. We've had a
So if everyone's okay, would you all mind just staying back on while I run the quick video about the Corvuss campus and facilities? Coach Ben, if you need to drop off, thank you very much for your time. And Vikram, is it okay if I just quickly play that? Because I
Yes,
know
please.
parents are
Yes.
not going to have a chance to come quickly onto campus. And this way, if nothing else, it gives them an idea. Really quick
Absolutely.
overview of our campus and facilities. Yeah. So
Please
just
do.
bear with me. I'm going to pull up the video right now and run it. You should be able to see my screen.
Yep.
So that was really a quick look into the school and campus. We have a longer video, which I will be very happy to share with you. If you want images of any particular facility, etc., that you want to know more about, also happy to share that with you. And you know, if you would like some video clips and footage to see what Coach Ben is doing with his students, I'm sure we can share that with you.
Lena, do you want to quickly just talk about the camp, the soccer camp? Because I don't know if Neetu Kakkad and Sharin knows about, or even Manisha knows about the camp.
Oh, okay. Have you had a chance to share the information on the football camp with them, the document?
We would have shared it on our WhatsApp groups, which are, which
Sure.
they would be
Sure.
part of, but maybe specifically you can just quickly talk about it.
Yes, and since Coach Ben is here, I mean, he can add in the details about what the training focus is going to be. So this is a 5-day residential camp, and that will be at, obviously, the Corvuss campus. The purpose is to give you an idea into the life on campus and obviously the training program that we offer. When it comes to football, Coach Ben, would you like to talk about the specific aspects that you will be working with the students?
Yeah, so as they've explained, 5-day camp, so very similar to what you would experience if you joined Corvuss in terms of the day-to-day schedule, the amount of time you'll spend on the pitch. So we're going to focus on attacking organisation and skill development. Now, when I speak about attacking organisation, that's how we like to play in different areas of the pitch, looking at the Manchester City methodology and playing philosophy. So we'll focus at the start of the week, the end of the week, because it begins on a Friday, on individual skill development. We'll then look at technical development, where we'll look at how we then receive the ball to help us try and play forwards. We'll then focus on tactical development on the 3rd day. So we'll look at combinations and playing in small units. Again, looking at how we can play forwards quickly. And then we'll look at human performance on the 4th day. We'll also have kind of tournaments and games on that day. We'll do some performance testing where we'll put you through 4 different tests. You will be tested on your endurance, your agility, your speed, and your strength. And then on the 5th day, because as one of the questions came through earlier about the intensity of the program, It will be a tough week, but we'll start to then look at active recovery and how you can help yourselves whilst training to start to recover and prepare for the next stage of your training. But that will be the last of the days, and we'll have a few different kind of ball mastery and skill challenges. We'll also, in the classroom, take you through some presentations on how we play and how we train, just to give you an idea of how we look to then train and develop players. So going a bit more in depth onto some of the stuff that we spoke about today. We'll really get into detail on the performance factors, and we'll look at creating some player profiles, which will be really interesting for you to think about how you then might want to develop yourself as an individual, whether you come to Corvuss or whether you use that outside. We'll then look at some video analysis where we'll go through first team players, and by that time, midweek, we should have some footage of you playing where we can have a look at your individual video analysis. And then also we'll look at diet, nutrition, and also some goal setting, which will be really important as well for you moving forwards. So that is how the week will be broken up. And again, there'll be some strength and conditioning, which will be mixed in by our strength and conditioning coach, Dalton.
There's also an info session on physio, tips and tactics and things you need to keep in mind. That'll be a part of the 5-day program.
One question, when have we planned this? There are specific dates for this?
Yes, so the dates for the football camp are March 26th through the March 30th.
26th to 30th, okay.
That's correct.
And this is at Karjat?
Yes, it's at the Corvuss campus in Karjat.
I'll share these details with you, Sharon. I'll put it on WhatsApp for you.
Okay, I have one more question, which is coming from my experience of Arjun. So when it comes to Corvuss Manchester, just wanted to understand the concept in terms of the tie-ups that we have. The reason I'm telling is when Arjun did a tie-up with the DSK, which was with Liverpool, it was for a period of 5 years, which they had a contract. So there were certain things which did not go. So I want to understand the parties involved in this particular setup.
I'm sorry, when you say you want to understand the parties in this setup, you mean the relationship between Manchester City and Corvuss?
Yes, yes.
So it's a partnership between Manchester City Football Education Program and Corvuss American Academy. It is their football program which is being presented at Corvuss, their city model, which is what will be what the children will train. And it's an ongoing relationship. Is that what you're asking, Sharon? Have I understood you correctly?
Yes. So this is this a long-term contract which is there with Manchester?
Right. That is correct, Sharon. It is a long-term commitment between Manchester City Football Education Program and Corvuss American Academy.
Okay, and there is an Indian counterpart to for the entire setup which is there at Karjat.
Yes. So in the sense, you have to think of it this way. I think I'm not sure if you were there for the earlier part when Ben was talking about the different initiatives.
So sorry.
That's okay, Sharon. Don't worry about it. Ben, could you please just talk about where the football education program falls within the umbrella of the larger Man City? I think Sharon may have missed that. So could you just briefly talk about where this particular thing fits in?
Yeah, so I am previously an academy coach with Manchester City, so that was my job right up until moving over here, literally up until the week I came. I now live on site at Corvuss, and I'm based here for the next few years. I think the project that we have is it's over a decade, the contract and the partnership between the two. It's a really exciting time because obviously we have ties into Mumbai City FC as well. But yeah, what the program is, it's just an extension of our academy. So I have full reign of a full AstroTurf and grass pitch. And I think in coming years, we're looking to extend that as well. But what it means is the players who I work with have the exact same experience as an academy player would, who is based in Manchester. So the two is a perfect merger. We bring the football. I have full control over the program. And as I say, it's an authentic experience, exactly the same as what you get in Manchester. And then we obviously have the close relationship with the school and the teachers. So it's that balance then between the football and the academy and the work that they do in the classroom and on the pitch. So we're able to support players kind of in tandem with each other. But the program itself is completely authentic. It's exactly what you would experience if you were in Manchester.
So just to clarify, this is not a licensee or a franchisee or any of that. It's an actual Man City program which is at the school. And Ben is very much a part of our school setup, and he's there full time. He taps into his resources through the Manchester City Academy in the UK. Just to clarify that, so it's not like he's going to walk away or he's here 5 days a month or anything like that. It's a full-time commitment.
Okay,
Yeah,
you.
I think if I may add, see, Sharin, the relationship that DSK had with Liverpool was very different than the relationship that Corvuss has with Manchester City. And over and above that, Manchester City has got a much it's got a deeper and a longer commitment within India by investing into Mumbai FC. DSK was just a local club, whereas Mumbai FC is an ISL team. I mean, there's a world of a difference there. And then over and above that, the Manchester City football schools, the education program, it ties in very well with what Corvuss is trying to do. So the relationship is, I understand where you're coming from, because DSK had a tie-up with Liverpool, and then that contract expired over a period of time, and then the kids were left high and dry. That won't happen here, because the relationship is completely different.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. Thank you so much.
I think we're quite unique in being one of the first schools, not just in India, but in the world, to have this type of a partnership. So it is quite a new but unique experience.
Those are some really good questions. Please keep them coming. I mean, if it's about anything.
Manisha, you have any other question regarding?
Renu, you had a question. I think you're on mute, Renu.
Yeah. So my question was, when we come to, I'll be accompanying Ahan for the camp. And so will there be an opportunity, Ben and Lena, to meet with you all, to go over the campus? This would be, towards looking at him finally coming there.
Yes. Renu, to answer your question, when you come to drop him off, yes, there will be an opportunity to meet with Coach Ben and to walk around with us on the campus, understand what the campus is like, take a look at the facilities and what life is like on campus. Yes, there will be opportunities to do that.
Perfect, perfect.
There will there'll be scheduled times though, Renu, for when that will happen. But obviously we would communicate that with you. Yeah.
In advance, please, because I will not be staying there. I will be going back to Bombay for those 4 or 5 days and then coming back to pick him up.
Understood. A team member will coordinate that with you.
Perfect.
Yeah, ma'am, I'll be in touch with you for that.
All right. Who's that? I'm sorry.
It's Mr. Gaurav Arora, our Director of Admissions, will coordinate that with you. Okay.
Lovely. Thanks, Gaurav. Also, Vikram.
Yeah.
Yeah, before we leave for the camp, if it's all right, then I would like to come and spend some time with you to sort of just have, further discussions, get into
Sure.
the nitty-gritties of
Sure.
stuff
Anytime.
for his future.
Yeah.
So we'll do that
Sure.
soon. Perfect. Great.
Are there any other questions? Manisha, uh, Neetu Kakkar, you're there, but haven't heard from you.
Actually, not right now, but let me think over it and let me go over with Lavanya. If any questions, I'll get back to you personally.
Yeah. You can visit the website. There's a lot of information on the Corvuss website. Their video, the short video obviously doesn't do justice to the facility. I've been to the facility myself. It's fabulous. There's a 4 or 5 minute video which can be shared, an updated video if you guys like. I'll share that with you on WhatsApp as well. Have a look at it, and then obviously you'll be visiting it. Manisha, you can have a detailed look on YouTube.
Vikram, do you have the link that you could possibly share with them?
Yeah, I do, but you can share it with me again. Just put it on the group
Yes.
chat and we'll share it with them.
Yes.
Vrinda will send it out to them.
Yep. Yes. Happy to. I've also shared a fantastic video just now with you, Vikram, which is part of the Man City Same Goals campaign, which features an interview with one of our star players, Priyanka Sujish. If you could please kindly share it with these parents, I think it will be very, very interesting.
Sure.
Ben, since we have our parents here, could you just quickly talk about the Same Goals initiative for Man City and what it means?
Yeah, so we run a campaign every year, and it's to promote girls' football. Obviously, our women's football team back in England is kind of leading the way, really, in women's football. Oh, sorry.
Hello.
Sorry,
Hello.
I'll just again.
Yeah, hi Neetu.
Actually, I'm mother-in-law of Neetu.
Oh,
Vikram.
okay. Sorry.
Yeah, so I note down all the points, and she gone for the match now. Actually, Veer is having a match.
Yeah, I know the trials
So
are
that's
happening
why
today.
I note down all the things. When she came, I convey all the things to her, and then she will talk to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt you there. So yeah, the Same Goals campaign is done every year in England. As I say, Man City women's football team, it's very progressive. We are the first club to have our own women's stadium. We have our RTC, which is our regional talent centre, which replicates what the boys have in the academy. And we do this campaign every year where we kind of promote women's football, and we've gone from doing that in England to doing it globally. We have one of our young players who features in the video in the campaign this year, who is the girl who I was telling you about, who's in the national team. And she was really kind enough to participate in the campaign. She's done a wonderful job in the video, speaking about her experience at Corvuss and the training, and how it's kind of helped her develop over the past year. So I think it's a really interesting watch. It's been going out on Star Sports, I believe the channel is here in India, for the last few days. So it's also on their on-demand section. So I'm sure she's going to be not just a great role model, but at the moment she'll be a little superstar, because I think she's been noticed by her friends and family. So yeah, it's a really good watch, and it's a great campaign. I know the AFC also celebrate women's football, and they had an international day for women's football as well, which this player was also involved in. So she's an up and coming rising star, and the video is a really good watch. It gives you a good insight as a football player as to what you will probably experience on the program as well. So it's good to hear it from the kids, not just from me, but what people actually think of the program who are on it. So definitely watch it if you get the chance to.
So I've shared the video with Vikram, and he will share that with all of you. And yes, it is Star Sports, where the channel where it is being her footage and her interview, etc., is being carried.
Cool.
Yeah. I guess.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Anything related even to the academic curriculum or, studies at Corvuss, life on campus, anything?
A quick brief on the education part, if you could give.
Sure. So as you know, we start from grade 6 through grade 12, and it is purely an American curriculum. So we are not affiliated to any Indian board, nor do we offer the IGCSE or the IB in 11th and 12th. It's broken up into the middle school and high school. I think you might already be familiar with the American curriculum. Am I correct in understanding that? Hello, Sharon?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm so sorry. Yes, I have a bit idea from Vikram.
Yes, so it's purely the American curriculum with the middle school and high school. And as you know, it's in essence, it's the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th assessments, which will, count for college applications. We offer SAT and or ACT training on the campus itself. The discussion and that all will start after grade 10. College counseling happens, as I had mentioned earlier, through grade 10, and this is where Case and Vikram comes in. His team work as our in-house college counselors. So they work with the academic faculty and they work with the coaches when it comes to building the child's profile and identifying, the best fit colleges and institutions, the kind of pathways they want to take, and then obviously through the process of the application. Advanced placement courses is something that we will be making available for our students starting in the next academic year. And it will work much like, a child who was looking to do advanced placement exams if they were associated at any schools. So from an American curriculum system, obviously, if you were to take the AP courses, that adds a competitive level to your own education, both from the point of view of challenging yourself as well as what you present in a college application. That's kind of it in a nutshell. But there was a deliberate decision, Sharon, that was made in taking the American curriculum because the co-founders, along with the organization that they had associated with to look into the academic portion of it, came to the conclusion that whilst the other boards or systems of education were very, very rich and very rigorous in some other ways and very familiar, at the same time, they did not offer the kind of flexibility that was needed from the point of view of sports training. And this entire notion of student athletes is what made it really, really compelling for the co-founders who wanted to do away with the kind of restrictions and the stress that is put onto children and their families, and prevent them from really taking sports to the next level.
All right.
I think there was a comment. Oh, okay. All right. She's just dropping off. Thank you for attending, Manisha.
If anybody has any specific questions about the American curriculum, we'll be happy to answer them one-on-one, because that's a long topic of discussion. So we can set up separately.
Yes.
Because there's
a separate discussion altogether. Yes.
Yeah, there's lots to cover there. Any other questions?
No, thank you so much. Thank you for your all the information that you have shared.
Thanks so much, Sharon. Thanks for attending. Thank you, Usha ma'am. Thanks, Renu.
Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Thank you. Thank you for all that.
Bye. Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Lena.
Our pleasure. Thank you, Coach Ben. Bye-bye, Vikram.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Vikram.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's nice to have touch with you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Nice. Bye.
Bye.